how grease, if you don't have the fan on, grease kind of goes out and makes dust sticky and stuff. You don't want any of that. Okay, so you're going to do an ERMI and you want to make sure you're doing it right, which is awesome because the results you get are only as good as the dust you collect. So if you collect your dust right, the results will be accurate, and the reverse is true. If you don't follow these instructions and guidelines right, it will affect the quality of your ERMI's results. So I put together a slideshow here of things to do, things to not do, places to collect, because it's really important to follow these. It's not hard, but you just have to follow these few things and it'll make sure that you get a good and accurate ERMI. So I put a slideshow together here and I'm going to share that and walk through this with you, and then you'll be very comfortable when you're doing your ERMI, and it'll go off without a hitch, okay? So let me blow up my screen here. Hopefully you can see it. If not, it'll be coming on in just a few moments. So how to do an ERMI, follow these steps. So if you're a client of mine, I sent you this link because I don't want to take all your time on the phone trying to walk you through this when you can have the video, because you can just watch it over. You can take a screenshot. That's a good idea. Take a screenshot of the lists that are coming, and then you can just have that for quick reference. So if you're not a client of mine and you need an ERMI, you can go to my website, pharmacy.com, F-A-R-M-A-C-Y, and click on the labs page, and you will find the ERMI in there. And a note there, when you buy it through my website, I also give you a call, 15, 20-minute call after the fact to run over the results with you so that you know what they mean. Now, spoiler alert, the ERMI results number, your test results, are not always accurate, and they can give you a false sense of security, or it can actually be better than what it sounds like. The number that they give you there is something that basically I tell people to ignore it, because what matters the most are the molds and their concentrations. So sometimes you see people throwing their ERMI results on Facebook. Please don't do that. And people are just giving them comments and feedback based on the score, which has almost nothing to do with the results or how the mold could be affecting your health. So that's included as well to make sure you know what it actually means. So is conducting an ERMI hard? Absolutely not. If you can manage a Swiffer, I have yet to find someone that can't manage a Swiffer. Our girls do it. Our kids do it every weekend. At least they're supposed to. And around their rooms. If you can manage a Swiffer, you can do an ERMI. And I do recommend people doing their own ERMI. Like, you can hire an IEP to come in and do it, or someone else to do it, but then you're paying a big premium. So why not do it yourself? Because even they might not know these guidelines to follow. So if you watch this video, learn the guidelines, take a screenshot of them for quick reference, and you'll make sure you're doing it right, and you'll save yourself money. This is what it looks like. So I use EnviroBiomics out of Texas. When you buy an ERMI kit, this is literally how simple it is. It comes with a Swiffer sealed up in a bag, blue gloves sealed up in a bag, a chain of custody form, and instructions. So be sure to watch those, read those instructions too. Along with this video and those instructions, you will absolutely nail this. So that it's nothing intimidating. It's nothing scary. It's very simple. And okay, what's this about pre-cleaning? Hold on a second. Do you need a pre-clean? Hopefully you don't, but there is a time that you may want to pre-clean your house before you Swiffer. And I know it sounds a little backwards, but here's why. So you see my number 1 and number 2 says older home, newer home. Basically, I'm saying is if you're not the original owner of the home, if someone lived in it previously, and the older the house gets, the bigger the issue may be for this reason. Say they had known water damage. Say they had stachybotrys under a window or in a bathroom 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, and they knew it. They had it remediated. They cut it out, fixed everything, put it back. But they didn't do a fine particulate cleaning because back then nobody knew about doing that or how toxic mold was. So there's the potential to have the DNA of mold, being the spores or fragments, still sitting in the house that you would collect when you go around now, today, actually collecting for your ERMI. So if you've bought in a home that someone else lived in and you've done a very thorough cleaning, it could be okay to just go ahead and do. Or like number 3 says, if it's only been your home and any water damage came in on your watch, you definitely want to know the historical data of the mold spores and fragments, the DNA of your house. So if it's a house that was very dirty and old, you might want to do a pre-clean first. Wait 30, 60 days maybe for enough new dust to fall. Collect that, and that's what goes in so that you get a better idea of what's actively happening in your home. Okay, here are 7 do nots, and I'm starting with the do nots because if I tell you what to do, I'm scared you're going to run off and do it and then shut this video off. So I'm going to go with the do nots first. That way you have to wait to get to the do's because these are things you want to avoid when doing your ERMI. Number 1, no mold. Do not wipe any mold. I know that sounds opposite. That's the whole reason we're doing this, right? Is to see what mold's happening in the home, but do not wipe any visible mold. The reason is when you collect that, you get a whole whack of mold, and that's not a proper view. It will artificially inflate your numbers, okay? Because the ERMI thinks this is just clean, dry dust from throughout your house. And if all of a sudden there's a big high whack of mold on it, it makes your whole house look like it's full of mold. So if you see any mold, do not wipe it. You're just going after clean, dry dust. You know, I know that sounds like an oxymoron, clean dust, but you only want dry dust with no gunk, no mold, nothing sticky, nothing that's been wet, okay? Just clean, dry dust. So number 1, no mold. Number 2, no floors, because floors get a lot of crap on them. That's not just dust. So don't wipe the floor directly. There is a caveat to this, and I'll show you in the video later of when this could possibly be an option. But generally, especially in traffic areas, do not wipe the floor. No kitchen, okay? And again, there's an exception to this, but no kitchen means don't do around the stove. Don't do the range. Range hood's great because it can, if you have like a hood on its own that's not just tucked up under cabinets, it can collect a lot of dust. Ours does. But as you know, what happens when you're frying meat or different things, the grease goes up and it lands in there. And the dust, while it looks nice, while it's sitting there, is actually all greasy. And as soon as you touch that with your Swiffer, big mess, big sticky, greasy mess. You also don't want to do anything that's been touched by water. So don't be doing uptight around the sink or anywhere that there could have been water laying and touching it. You just want clean, dry dust. And the one place that I will sometimes wipe, or people wipe, that's clean and dry in the kitchen is the top of the fridge. And you also can't do things that are hot. And the fridge gets warm, but it doesn't get real hot. And it's nice doing the top of the fridge because there's clean, dry dust. Sometimes people have that little 1/4-inch water line that feeds their fridges, ice cube trays and water in the door. Sometimes those leak. And that's a good spot that you would catch those spores if there is a leak there. So I'm going to show you what I mean, but no kitchen, no hot areas, no greasy areas, no wet areas. But if you find a nice dry spot, no drywall dust, that will inflate your numbers as well. So if you're in a new build, and new houses do have mold. I've seen unbelievably moldy lumber going into new builds. And even our house here, which is another story, was only a year old when we bought it, and it had a problem that the owners chose not to share with us when asked. But if you're in a new house, they don't clean up when they're done. Okay, so when you get a new house, a lot of times on top of all the trim, you will have dried wall dust still sitting there from when they were sanding the mudding of the ceiling. So if you're in a brand new home, I would say you would probably, if you haven't done a thorough cleaning already, I would do a thorough cleaning, pre-clean first, just to make sure you get rid of all that drywall dust. No grit and bugs. Where do you find grit and bugs? On the floor, number 2, also on windowsills, which is my number 6. So when along windowsills, because the bugs, are all flying on the window trying to get out to the light, and then they die and they fall. And then you can also have grit on there. You can have stuff that comes in the window when you open it. So if you have a window that you open frequently and outside air comes in, you don't want to do those windowsills anyway, because outdoor spores can be sitting there in higher concentration. And like my window just behind my computer here, there's mulch on the ground outside, and that's awful for mold. And that was my summer job this summer, one of my summer jobs, and I never got to it. You don't want mulch around your house. It's mold food, okay? Take all the mulch out, lay some fabric, put stones, pretty stones or something. You don't want mulch, but you don't want to collect from the windowsill there because of high mold spore count. Could be if you have a house like ours, or if there's grit and bugs that are sitting there. Okay, no garage. And the reason I put this in here, because I had someone say that they read the instructions on the ERMI and it said collect from multiple locations. So they thought their house was a location, but that wasn't enough. There's only one. So they collected from their garage, which is a big no-no because that's outside, not your living space. And they also collected from their car because that was another location. So please just do your living area if you're doing your house. I mean, this could be an ERMI for your car, could be for your school, could be for your work. Any of these options, just stick to your living area. Don't go down your crawl space after you do the inside of your house and Swiffer there, because that would not give you an accurate reading of the mold in your house. Okay. So what do I do then? I told you everything not to do, and also be sure to check that sheet. It comes with the ERMI. But what do I do? So I had 7 do nots. Let's go over 7 to dos. Okay. First thing you're going to do is walk through your house. Like before you're all geared up, got your gloves on, your Swiffer on, you're excited to do it. Walk through with a game plan. Like if I was starting right here, I look above, I see I've got the molding above the door, got the molding above that window. I've got a whole bunch of picture frames here. I've got these shelves behind me. So just walk through. You want to go through your whole house, get a game plan of what you're going to do so that when it's game time, you're ready to swipe. All right. Whole home. Don't just do, now 99% of people are going to do the whole home. If you want multiple ERMIs to test like second story, main floor, and basement, you could, and that could allude to where the mold is worse. Okay. The thing about an ERMI is it's about looking kind of for the total toxic mold load on a home and concentration. It's not a test for finding where the leak is. Like an ERMI will never tell you if there's mold behind the wall in the bathroom. It's not going to tell you if it's coming from the crawl space or the attic. Okay. So some people will do multiple ERMIs. 99% of people don't. So when you're doing this, you want to check the whole home. So I'd be doing my office, the living room, the bedrooms, the bathrooms. The bathrooms are very tricky, and I'll go over that as well. But you want to get a good representation, because if I'm just doing the kids' bedrooms on this side of the house, but there's a mold behind the wall in our master bedroom, you may not pick it up. So you want to check some from every house or every room if you can. Okay, so that's whole home. Air filters, if you have an Austin Air, an Air Doctor, something going, you might want to shut it off a week or two ahead of time, just to allow spores to fall where they may, to be picked up a little easier. Wear gloves. Simple. It comes with them. You don't have to buy them. You don't have to find them. Open the baggie, put on the gloves before you pull your Swiffer out to get started. High and low. This is one of the biggies. When you take a screenshot of this, circle this one with your marker tool. High and low. You're checking up high on high shelves, on high cabinets, above windows and doors, but you need to check low. Most houses have baseboards, so you're going to go along and wipe the baseboard everywhere, and any shelves that are down low, and anything that you can get, because some molds are heavier and stickier, and they're not going to be found up high. Okay, they're going to come down, stay down low. So you need to check high and low in each of the rooms that you're checking. Get dirty, okay? It has to look dirty. Your Swiffer has to show obvious dirt. The reason is the lab has to blow all this dust off the Swiffer to collect enough to do the DNA analysis, okay? So it has to have enough dust. The smaller your sample, the less accurate it could be. And I think they need 5 milligrams. So make sure you get it dirty. They say you can use both sides of the Swiffer. I just use the one. What you're going to see is your Swiffer has a bumpy side and a smooth side. If you're going to do just one side, make sure you use the bumpy side, because that collects the most dust, okay? I just use one side. I've never had a problem, but they say you can use both sides. And one direction, don't grind the stuff into the Swiffer. You just want to go along, swipe it, swift it, just one scoop. And if it's on there loose, that's fine. You don't want to grind it in. So like I said, they have to be able to get the dust off the Swiffer to test it. Okay, that's how, but where. Okay, so I've told you what not to do, what to do. And now let's look at where are good spots to collect. So here are 7 areas. Top of moldings, I've already touched on it a couple times. Top of windows, top of doors. Those are easy spots. Getting ahead of myself. Those are easy spots to check. And Most people don't clean them regularly. We do not. All right. Top of frames. So I've got picture frames, certificate frames. Everyone has frames, mirror frames. Okay. Swipe them. Top of cabinets. Okay. There's a big cabinet behind me, or you got curio cabinets or TV units, things like that. Things like shelves and units, like your TV unit, your TV itself, behind the TV, all those spots that have good clean dust that you don't get on a regular basis. Ceiling fan blades. Those are ERMI gold. I don't know why fan blades collect dust. They're spinning. They're moving. How does it sit on the fan blades? I don't know. But for doing an ERMI, it makes it very nice because you can grab a nice lot of dust off the ceiling fan blade. So jump up on your bed, reach up there, and wipe the ceiling fan blades. Already touched on this on the down low, top of baseboard. Do it in all the rooms that you're checking. HVAC ductwork. Sometimes people have a mold problem in their coil just because they can have dampness in the unit. The drain pan, you've got all your airs going through there. So you've got dark, you can have warm, you can have moisture. So if you've got mold spores anywhere that get sucked in your cold air returns and are going through your heating and cooling unit, it's a beautiful breeding ground for mold. So if you can get your mitt up into the ductwork and wipe some dust from there, that is awesome. But if it's a bad enough problem, those spores are going to come out anyway and land in the other areas you're wiping. The one warning I have on doing this is if you take the register vent, you want to check where the air's coming out, where your heat and cold comes out. So the register vent, not the cold air return where it sucks it in a room. So when that's coming out of there, if it's like our house, there's going to be grit. There's going to be chunks of who knows what. There's going to be Playmobil parts down there, Legos. Okay. You don't want to collect that stuff because it will skew your results. So wherever you're looking, if you're looking at your ductwork, you just want clean, dry dust. Okay. So now you're done. You need to pack it up, do the chain of custody, and get it shipped back. And all that is super easy. So the first thing you're going to do when you're done, you've got your blue gloves on still. You've got your super dirty Swiffer. You're going to fold all the dirty parts in on themselves, fold it up, put it back in the Ziploc bag you took it out of, seal it up. Do not put the chain of custody form in there with it. You're just going to fold it and seal it. Once it's in there, snap, get off those gloves, and you are done with the Swiffer. Next thing you're going to do is fill out the chain of custody form. That is a super simple form to fill out. Let me give you an idea what it looks like here. So it's going to look like this. And I'm just going to run through it quick. I mean, you will figure this out. But since I'm showing you everything, I had to show you this. Date sample was taken. Boom. Check which box applies to your testing. So pre-remediation means you're just doing it now. It's the first time you're doing it. You haven't fixed anything in the house. Pre-remediation, okay? Progress means you're in the middle. You're checking in on the middle of your remediation. That's not often done, in my opinion. I've never had anyone do it in the middle. Post-remediation means all the fixes are done. It's been a couple months. The remediator came and gone. We are suspecting it's super clean, but I want to make sure. So I'm doing another ERMI. You would check that box. So now the whole billing part there, it says fill in the areas below completely. When you buy that from me, it's already pre-populated with my pharmacy information. Okay. The bottom half of the form, say sample taken by, your name, put your email so that when the ERMI results are done, Envirobiomics will email me and they'll email you, and then we can set up our consultation to go over quickly what they found. Project customer name, that's just if you're a business doing it. So again, that's your name. Site address, that's your house. And then in the table below, there's a bunch of rows there. You're only filling out one. So number, just put 1, the date, your test is an ERMI, type is Swiffer because there's also vacuum, but we don't really do that. So just put Swiffer. Sample locations is where you sampled from. Turnaround days, when you buy it through me, it's 5 business day turnaround. So just put a 5 there. There are other options, but the price goes way up. So unless you're making an offer on a house that's dependent on an ERMI and you need a result within, 1 to 3 business days, then you would pay a lot more if you had a house depending on it. But for this always works well for people. So just put a 5 there because that's what you paid for. Okay. And then ship it back. So the Envirobiomics kit that you get already comes in a white envelope. has the address on. You can literally just put a stamp on it and send it back with your Swiffer folded back in your chain of custody form. Or if you want to send it back by FedEx to get it there quickly and have a tracking number, just take the address off the front of the envelope, write it on the front of the cardboard FedEx envelope you bought, drop this whole thing that has everything in it in that big envelope, seal it up, ship it off, and it will get processed. Okay, enough talk, show me. Let's see Matt's dust. So I am now going to take you on a tour of my house. I bet you didn't think you're going to get that when you click play on this video. We are going to go through my house, and I'm going to show you all the rooms of my house and show you what I'm collecting, why I'm collecting it from there, what I wouldn't do. I'm just going to walk through everything because I know for me, I love seeing people do something on video. I go to YouTube for everything on how to do something when I don't know it, right down to taking the screens and drain out of the bottom of my dishwasher, which I could not figure out on my own, but of course it was on YouTube. So watching someone do it always makes life easier. So I'm going to take you around and show you how I would collect the ERMI dust for my house. Okay, you ready to do this? Let's go. Okay, so we just covered what not to do, what to do, and good options for wiping. So I'm gonna get my gloves on. Don't forget step one, get my Swiffer. I'm gonna walk you around our house, kind of see a little bit behind here, and show you exactly what my thoughts are as I go through each room to collect for the ERMI, and I'll show you what I would do, what I wouldn't do, and I'll do the actual dust collection and walk you through this, and hopefully this will be helpful. Okay, I'm at the kitchen counter. I just got my blue gloves on. Don't forget step one, don't grab your Swiffer out until you have your blue gloves on. And I also put my phone on wide angle lens just so that you can see up closer and a little better at what I'm showing you. So okay, we're going back to my office here. This backdrop should look familiar from my videos, but I'm going to start here and I'm going to go through all the different rooms in the house, most of them, all the ones that Amy will let me go in. So I've asked her not to dust, and our girls are great little dusters, but I said don't dust for 3 weeks or so. I was going to shoot this video, so we should get some good dust here. So got my gloves on, got my Swiffer on. So I'm going to touch on some of the basics I already touched on quickly just for a reminder. So this is a great window. All these slats get covered in dust, but this is a window I open. And if you look outside here, there's all mulch. And what's mulch? It's rotting wood. What does mold love? Decaying wood. That's its job, to break down organic material. So I'm not going to dust these slats, and I'm not going to dust this windowsill. And see that? There's dead bugs like I told you about. But like I mentioned, at the windows, the top, the trim on every window is going to be a good option. So even though I open this window, I can still grab up there, because it's going to come in and come down, right? So on top of these frames, those frames I'll do. On top of these great big posters, same thing. So you can leave it folded one way until this side's full. So I'm just going to wipe, knock my picture sideways. See, we're starting to get a collection. And like I said, don't grind it in, just do a gentle wipe, okay? So as I look back here, so on top of my sideboard here, there's usually a lot of junk, but you can still go along, wipe any flat surfaces, shelves you have, but there's not a lot there. Okay, these guys, same thing, they'd probably have a good amount. Okay, we're starting to collect some, and we're just in the first room. All these shelves, dusty, but there's too much stuff on them. I'd have to, that would be a pain. But on top of this ledge would be loaded, and I need a chair to grab that, so I'm not going to swipe it right now. But here is a great spot. On top of my double doors, let's get up there. Let's go across. Okay, you can see where that guy was. Now, on top of this sign, because it's a rough wood, it actually looks like wood, but it's MDF with a fake texture on it. That's rough. So don't try swiping on any wood that's rough, because it'll just grab your Swiffer and tear at it, and you'll get frustrated and angry. So touch it with your glove first if you're not sure, to see if it's smooth or not. Okay, so here's our front door. This is open all the time, so it's always letting in spores and grit and dirt. So I'm not going to collect on the baseboard here. I'm not going to collect around here. I may not even collect on top of here unless I need to, okay? And I would never sample out of that register because it'll be full of grit and dust and dirt. Oh, and it's not a good one for collecting anyway. It drops way down, okay? So something I missed in here is the baseboard is a great option, especially the baseboard down there, where when it gets dusted, it doesn't get hit on top. Especially corners are good. So we're collecting down low, up high, and all around here, okay? So now we're not gonna go around the front door. This little entry table, same thing, we can collect there. It's not gonna have a lot though, okay? So here is our living room, kitchen, dining table, okay? So let's take a look here. My first thoughts are, baseboard is all great around here, okay? So all that baseboard's gonna be gotten. I'm gonna do on top of the windows, on top of that window, on top of that window, this mirror, this will be loaded on top, I'm sure. Let's take a look. Yep, got some good dust there. And then the baseboard here, looks like the kids did it. It doesn't look real bad, but don't worry, we have more spots. So remember, we want to do the whole Swiffer. So it's still folded now. We're going to do the whole one side of the Swiffer and make sure it's dirty. These, oh my goodness, look how young I was there. Back when we only had 2 kids, the twins, Isaac and Avery. So these fake plants, loaded with dust, but it's a pain in the butt. So I'd only come back here and get it if I actually needed it, because that's just a pain. If it's a real plant, you got to be careful with real plants, because as you water the soil, and that's not real soil down there, you can be growing mold, different fungus, which then comes up. So you might not want to sample right around that. Again, this is a window we open, so I'm not going to do this windowsill right by that, but I am going to keep hitting all the baseboard around here that I can to get low collections. Anything like, see, dust even collects on these plates because it's something that you never collect. On top of this antique sign, grab it. Now that stained glass, it's old, it's natural wood up there. It's just going to grab it. So I would not hook the Swiffer on that. So here's an interesting spot. So here's an Austin Air, and it blows its clean air out here. So the natural air is moving up like this. So what I've noticed is on the clock, take a look at that. It gets so dusty because any dust in the air is being caught by that exhaust and thrown up this way. So this is going to be dirty. This is going to be dirty. Okay, I'm going to turn my cloth. And this ledge, this trim up here, I bet you is loaded. So let's see. Just a well, it wasn't as bad as I would have thought, okay? But still, we're getting somewhere. Now, as for the kitchen, you're not wiping countertops because that has food, dirt, water, grit, or not grit, shouldn't be grit. You're not going to be doing countertops. You're not going to be doing around the heat of the stove. These cabinets go to the ceiling. I'm not going to be wiping on here because you're getting grease residue from frying your bacon or whatever, okay? Even though it's dusty, okay, you're not going to collect it because it's not clean, dry dust. So if you're going to collect in a kitchen, it has to be perfectly clean, dry dust. Where's a good spot for that? Usually on top of a fridge. It gets warm, but not too hot. Let's wipe here. Let's take a peek. Okay, open this, and I can reach in this way. Let's see. Oh yeah, take a look. See where my hand went? So that is a good spot to get a sample out of the kitchen. And why is that important? Oh yeah, look at that. Because almost all these fridges have water in them, or ice makers, and that means there's a little 1/4 inch water line, or 3/8, probably 1/4 inch behind this fridge. And those are notorious for leaking. So if you get a leak behind your fridge, as the mold grows, the spores are going to come up due to the fan running in the fridge, the compressor. It's going to push them up into the air. They're going to land on top of your fridge. So if you have clean, dry dust up there, that's a great spot to check for to collect spores from the kitchen. I think the microwave could be a good option too, but not if there's any grime or food or dirt. But if it's clean, dry dust, give it a wipe. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. This is our laundry room. Oh yeah, lights on. This was the source of our problem. When we bought this house, it was only a year old. I had to remediate the house because of this room. That's a story for another video, but the owners did not tell us that they flooded the washing machine when we specifically asked if there was any known water damage. So that was our welcome to this house. That sucked. Anyway, in a laundry room, you don't want to collect, again, you're not collecting anything that's ever been touched by water. You don't want to collect any goo. You don't collect any obvious mold. This door goes to the garage. So we're not collecting around it, okay? We're not collecting around water. We could collect up here. This is a great spot. Okay, because there's no chance of anything happening there. Oh yeah, that was good. But here's the gold. These cabinets don't go to the ceiling. So I imagine, and Amy can't reach it, or the kids, and I don't do it. So, okay, boom. There's the ultimate sample from the laundry room. So at this point, I would open up my, that part's done, okay? So let's use this clean side now. We've got some real good, I'm just readjusting my hand there, some real good dust. So we collected up there. Okay, so this is our bedroom. Amy did not want me to come in here, but I said I would just shoot this wall, not our messy bed and stuff. So this is the end of our room, has TV, soundbar, etc. There's no water sources in here. This is good. So let's, like, see the dust on there on the little sound bar? Well, it looked like a lot till it got on the Swiffer, but this shelf too, saying, oh, see, that started to grab my Swiffer a bit. Be careful, you don't want your Swiffer ripped apart. Okay, so I still got some there. And this on top of here is going to be great. That mirror I haven't hung in over a year and a half we've been here, but take a look on top because it's behind, yeah, look at that. It's behind the door. It's just a natural place where air drops things. So let's go up here. Oh yeah, see that big line right there? That was from the top of there. Now, I'm going to show you something. There's natural places you'll see in your house that dust collects. I'm sure you've seen it. I know where the spots are in our house, or maybe I'm just a little anal because of thinking about mold dust and being in the mold industry. I'm conscious of all that. But the rule was to never collect on a floor. But if you have an area where you're never wearing shoes and you don't have any food, so like in the bedroom here, there's no outside door. We don't wear our shoes in here. There's no food, no water source, no anything. And this is one of those corners where air seems to circulate and drop dust. So take a look here. Like, see that? That's just been collecting on top of the baseboard is loaded. So if you need to, you can, oh yeah, you can grab some floor dust if you need to from areas that you know are going to be safe like that. Okay, I did get some hair. I'm going to pull that out. No, you don't want hair in your sample. Again, sorry, this is a little all over the place, but look. You can see how dusty that is. That is ERMI gold, okay? See how much we collected on this new side? Not gonna collect off light bulbs because they get hot. That's our closet. So I would grab up top on the inside. I would grab on the baseboard, get up high, down low. Look how nasty this side's looking. This is our bathroom. Same thing. Look at this. This is what you want to see. You need a dirty ERMI, okay? So in our bathroom, excuse the mess. So let me point everything out here. You're not going to wipe anything on a counter. You're not going to wipe anything on that's below a towel or washcloth. So I would not wipe that baseboard. This clock, we could wipe the top because it's dusty and it's not too close. It's not, there's no chance of from the shower actually getting anything wet there. Again, this windowsill won't do it because sometimes we open this window and it's near water. I would do the top. And it's important to grab some dust from in bathrooms, just not anywhere below towels or washcloths on the baseboard, because you can see, I don't know, maybe you can't see, you get water streaks, right? As water from your hands hits the wall as you're grabbing for towels, and then it hits the baseboard. You don't want any dust that water's been touching, okay? But this area here behind the door, this baseboard from here to here is a good option, okay? So I'm gonna grab that. That looks good. And then the inside of the door, this is a great spot. It's gonna have some good dust. Yep, see that? And now we have some good dust from the bathroom, because obviously bathrooms are notorious for mold, either in the shower, around the toilet, under a cabinet, anywhere there. So getting a good, clean, dry dust sample from inside your bathroom is important if you can do it. If you can't, you just collect it on the outside, like up here, and hope those spores are hitting there. But if you can get it from the inside, that's a good option. Okay, so we just did my office, the living room, the kitchen, our bedroom, the ensuite, the dining area, bedrooms. Those are ERMI gold as well, because you don't really have water sources. You hopefully don't have any mold growing. This is Mila's room. She keeps a very clean room, which is great unless you're doing an ERMI. So I asked her not to dust either, but her baseboard looks quite clean. I think she went ahead and dusted anyway. Again, we've got slats that collect a ton of dust, but it's at a window we open, so we're not doing the slats. We're not going to do the bottom there, but I can do up top, which I will reach after this because I don't want to make you dizzy watching my phone spin all around. Another good spot, so this top of this is dusty, so this is a good option just to get a sample. You want to get a sample out of every room, you know, because you don't know, if you don't know where a mold source is, you want to be sampling everything. Tops of headboards seem to be something that get forgotten. Okay, her picture for up there is coming. That would be a great spot to collect. And oh, a really good spot would be if you move the bed. See how there's junk that doesn't get clean? So the top of that baseboard, not the floor, the top of that baseboard is going to be really good. So again, you're going to hit all the tops of the moldings. Door. This may be a register vent. We'll talk about that at the end that we could do, because there's no shoes coming in here. But I see grit in the bottom. And we don't want grit, we just want clean dust. So as long as you can avoid grit in the register vent, you can do that. Okay, this hallway is perfect because that's the bathroom right there in between the two bedrooms. We're gonna wipe along here. Oh yeah, that was a good one. Take a look at that. Okay, let's say that side's full. Gotcha. This is looking really good. Okay, so I'm gonna get another clean spot here. Hey Molly, we'll grab on top of you. Oh yeah, look at that. We'll go back up here. Good. And then on top of these doorways. That's good. That's Abby and Violet's room. So I would go in, grab some from the baseboard, headboard, on top of the window. You get the idea. So here, going to the basement, I would grab on top of that canvas, on top of this clock. See that? Nice, clean, dry dust. Yeah, see how much darker that got? Amy's gonna love it when I'm done this. There we go. Okay, now talking about the natural airflow in a house, this stairwell collects an amazing amount of dust from everybody going up and down. It gets windy here, it gets breezy just from the people moving all the time, and dust drops here like crazy from here at the top all down these sides. This is considered floor you could wipe. It's not floor, it's kind of like trim, but this collects a ton of dust. So I would wipe all the way down each side on each of these because there's no grit, there's no water, there's no obvious mold growing. And even, I don't know if you can see it, but nobody walks on this, but it just collects dust. So as long as you're not having grit and stuff from outside or anything like that, you can wipe a spot like that. But this is kind of the wind tunnel coming down the stairs. Here is Amy's desk at the bottom, and she's wanted to dust this for a long time because it gets disgusting. Take a look. You can see how much dust collects here. So now EnviroBiomics says you can use the other side, so if you wanted to, I just always use one side, the bumpy side. So if I go like this along here, take a look at that. Looky there, okay? So I know the camera's kind of going everywhere. And same with this shelf. Let me see. If you have those spots that collect amazing dust, this is one of those spots at the bottom of the stairs. Well, look at all that on the top, okay? So those are good spots. There's no water. There's no grit. It's just good, clean dust. On top of the mirrors, fine. Okay, couch, nothing. We're gonna get baseboard here. Okay, so in the kids' little hallway, that's bedroom, bathroom, bedroom. I dare not take you in the teens. Isaac and Avery are 15. You do not want to see in their rooms, but I would hit that baseboard. We're going to hit above these. Look at that. And make sure you go inside every room, getting high and low. So as I look around the rest of the basement, this sideboard it would just grab the Swiffer, okay? It's not smooth. I'm going to hit on top of that door. Just got this shelf unit. I know it looks very disheveled and ugly, but I'm going to do all on top of that, front of the shelves. This is a great spot in here where the subwoofer is because it doesn't get cleaned around often. So that would be a great spot to collect on the baseboard there. Closing the door on the utility room, that's loud. Go around this baseboard. Yeah, there's all the kids, calico critters and stuff. I'll do on top of this whiteboard because it's smooth. Nice. And then on top of TVs is obviously great. I'm running out of clean spots. Oh, here we go. There's a clean spot. Let's see what's on top of the TV. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. The mantle, give it a dust. Okay, don't touch the cloth of the soundbar. It'll just grab your Swiffer. And then I'm going to run around all this baseboard, especially the baseboard under Amy's desk because it just collects there from the stairs. So that is the basement. So I think that covers everything. We did main floor, we did bedrooms, bathroom, we did basement. I think that is about everything I wanted to cover. The only thing I didn't go in great detail about is a register vent. Sometimes in the basement you have them in the ceiling. Those ones are safer because no grit's falling in, right? I'm trying to show you. See how much grit falls in there? So if you have a clean vent, especially ones in bedrooms or like under beds are good. If you have a clean vent, stick your mitt in there and collect a little bit of the dry dust, but not the grit. And we covered laundry room. So I think that covers everything. This went a lot longer than I was hoping to do. Again, sorry, but I think this gives you a good guideline of what you can do for each room. This bathroom, the kids' bathroom, is pretty small. I would not do under there because of towels. You could do the back of the toilet on top of that pitcher, on top of that window, the baseboard behind the toilet. Here's where towels are, so do not do down here from wet falling on that dust. Do not do that. But on top of this door would be perfect because that would pick up mold spores. Oh, that was a good one. Of anything growing in this room. All right, so I hope this helps. Actually, when you're done, I might as well show you this. Come back to where you started. Open up your dirty ERMI. Then you're going to fold it back in on itself just to hold the bulk of all that dust together. It's going to go back in your bag. When that's done, throw out your gloves, and then you're going to fill out the chain of custody form and put the Ziploc bag with your Swiffer in it. Where is it here? All right, so you're going to have your chain of custody form in here. And you can fill that out, put it back in, and put your Swiffer in there, and either put a stamp on it or send it back FedEx, drop the whole thing in a FedEx envelope, and then you can track it and it gets there quick. All right, I think I covered everything. I covered something from just about every room in the house. Didn't go in the utility room. If you have a utility room, it's still a good idea to grab some up high and down low there if you can. But I think I covered everything. If I missed anything, let me know. If you're a client of mine, you've got my email. Again, if you need an ERMI or need help, consultation, be sure to go to pharmacy.com, farmacy.com, and I can help you get that ERMI ordered and figure out if mold is an issue in your house. But thanks for following along. I know I always find it helpful when I can see somebody do something. I don't know what I'd do without YouTube, so I hope this helps you with your ERMI.
Do you need help ordering any of the labs or supplements mentioned by Matt in this video? Or maybe you're stuck in your health journey and need a one-on-one consultation with Matt to determine your next best step. Visit pharmacy.com or email office@pharmacy.com to get the guidance you need today.